Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short yoga session, which is perfect to do after you've been out for a long walk. You are going to need one piece of equipment. Today, you're going to need a strap of some sort. So if you've got a yoga strap, a Pilates band, or even the strap or belt from your dressing gown will work perfectly for what we need it for. So once you've got everything you need, let's bring ourselves down to a lying position to start off with. You might want to keep your knees bent here when you've been walking for a lot, can sometimes make the lower back feel quite tight. If you want to lengthen your legs out along the mat, then you're very welcome to. So let's just spend the first few moments in your chosen position. Bring in a rest through the eyes, landing yourself into the mat. Just notice the parts of the body that are in contact with the mat and the spaces in between. Breath is gently moving through the nose, breathing in and out gently. Feel the tummy rise on the inhale. And then full relax and rest as you exhale. And then, if they're not already, let's take a bend to the knees. We're going to land the feet into the mat. I'm going to bring the arms out to the side. Feet are about hip width apart, and we're just going to start by gently swaying those knees from side to side. So the feet stay grounded, but they tip on one edge and then the other. And we just sway the knees from side to side. And you might want to start off quite small. And then as your spine just gets a bit used to this twisting movement, maybe you can make those sways a little bit larger. But always work to your measure, work within your zone of comfort. We don't want to cause any pain. Going to make anything uncomfortable. Lovely. Right, the next time our knees are up towards the ceiling, we're going to just pause them there. And then let's bring the knees in towards the chest. Let's do a nice little rock here, stretching out the lower back, massaging that lower back into the mat. And then we're going to take one hand on each knee, push the knees away out to the side and back in and round. So we're drawing big circles with those knees. This is a really nice one for the hips, just helps that synovial fluid get moving and pumping. So we're just lubricating those hip joints. Let's reverse the direction of the circles. This can feel really nice after a long walk. Feel really nice before a long walk as well. This is a good move to remember for the hips if you're a person who suffers with tight hips. This is a really good one. Let's bring the knees back into the chest. We're going to drop the the left foot to the floor. Going to keep the right knee in towards the chest. And then we're going to take our band and we're going to pop it around that foot. And we're going to bring the foot up towards the ceiling. That left knee can stay bent, or maybe you want to stretch it out along the mat. It is up to you. And it doesn't really matter where this right leg is. We encourage it towards the head. We encourage a softness in that knee, so you don't want to lock the knee out. And maybe your eyes are closed. And closing your eyes when we're in these positions can just help you bring the awareness internally. And what you want to aim to do is rest through those legs. So find some kind of rest and release of tension through both of those legs. On the exhale, release. And then we're going to take both sides of the strap into the right hand. We're going to bring the left hand to the hip and we're going to bring the right leg out to the side. So again, we don't want to lock out that knee. We want a softness in that knee. And on the exhale, try to release tension. And you might find that that right leg then just drops. It might just be a millimeter towards the floor. One more moment here. And then we're going to use that strap to bring the right leg up, switch the grip to the left hand, and then we're going to bring that right leg across the midline. So we want both hips to stay grounded still. Maybe the right hand comes to the right hip. We don't want to come into a big twist here. We're just looking to stretch through the outside of that right leg. Let's bring the right leg back up to the center. We're going to release the strap, bring the knee in towards the chest, and we're just going to take a few circles through the ankle. Let's circle the ankle one way. Let's circle the ankle the other way, get all those creaks and cracks out. And then we're going to release that leg and we're going to switch to the other side. So let's bring the left knee in towards the chest. And we need that strap again. That right leg can stay bent or it can stretch out along the mat, whichever is most comfortable. And once that strap is around the left foot, we're going to bring the left foot up towards the ceiling. And again, maybe a close comes into the eyes. On the exhale, just notice if you're holding on to tension and releasing on the exhale. Notice where you can feel that stretch. And as you hold, you might find a little bit more space. You might be able to bring that left foot slightly closer towards the head. If that doesn't happen, then it doesn't matter. Let's take both sides of the strap into the left hand. Right hand can go on right hip, and let's allow the left leg to come out to the side. And again, we want to find softness through the knee. When we're in these unnatural positions, the body like automatically tenses to protect itself. But once you're here, you can use your breath to release that tension. And in breathing out and relaxing into it, you might find a bit more of a stretch or a bit more space in those muscles. So the breath is really important in yoga. Breathing in and noticing, breathing out and releasing. Let's gently bring that leg back in. We're going to switch the strap to the right hand and then just allow that left leg to fall across the midline of the body. Your left hip should stay grounded. And let's take one last moment here. And then let's bend that knee. Gonna drop the strap, bring the knee in towards the chest. We're gonna circle that ankle one way. And then circle the other. Lovely. Right, let's bring both knees into the chest. One last little rock here. And then we're going to bring ourselves up to seated and then onto all fours. So in safe way for you, bring yourself up and then turn yourself round. If your knees are feeling quite delicate after all you're walking and you want to fold a blanket up and put them underneath your knees, then you're very welcome to, particularly if you're not on a carpeted floor. It can feel a little bit, they can feel a little bit tender, can't they? So let's come into an all fours position. Our knees are underneath our hips and our hands are underneath our shoulders. Our fingers are like starfish, so splay your fingers apart. And then on the inhale, the crown of the head and the tailbone is going to come up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, round we come and reverse that curve. So we're inhaling and extending, and then we're reversing that curve on the exhale. Just let's bring some lovely movement into that back. Very nice. One last one here, and then we'll come back to a neutral position, so a flat backed position. And we're going to step that left foot through to in between the hands. And when you're ready, you're going to bring the upper body up. You want to make sure that you can see those left toes. So make sure that your foot is further in front of the knee. And then you're going to sink your hips down towards the mat and find a lovely stretch through this hip flexor area here. If you want more, then you can pop your forearm on that front leg and then lift that right arm up over your head. So same arm as leg that is back. And we can just slightly come into a side bend here. Not a normal position for us to be in, but our hip flexors will really appreciate the stretch here. One more moment. And then we're going to bring those hands back down, bring the left foot back to meet the right, and then we're going to come through onto the other side. So let's take a big step with that right foot. We're going to bring that forwards. When you've got your balance, let's come up. We check we can see the toes. We sink the hips down towards the mat. Make sure you can still see those toes. And if you want more, let's put the right elbow or the right forearm onto the right thigh. Sweep the left arm up above your head and then gently come into a side stretch here. So the hips are sinking down. And at the same time, the crown of the head and that left hand is coming upwards. We're finding a lovely stretch through the front of the body. One more moment. And let's bring those hands down. We're going to bring that right leg back to meet the left. And then we're going to we're going to tuck those toes under and come up into a downward facing dog. So bending through those knees, pushing the chest down towards the mat. Once you've got a length through the spine, we can pedal out through those legs. So we're pushing one heel into the mat and the opposite knee stretches. And we'll do that a couple of times. Then you can keep that movement going if that feels good, or maybe you want to pause here and press both feet down, or both heels down towards the mat. I'm going to take the gaze in between the hands. We're going to bring ourselves forwards into plank. We're going to drop the knees and then gently bring ourselves down so we meet on our tummy. And we're going to bring the shoulders or the elbows underneath the shoulders. And let's pause here in Sphinx for a moment. And then we're going to bring the left hand kind of in the middle to help us with our balance. Our right foot is going to come up towards the bottom, and then the right hand is going to come round and take hold of that foot. Now work within your measure here. So maybe here feels good, or maybe you can bring your chest down, maybe you can bring your head down. And as always, try to just release that lower body. So on your exhale, release. Noticing where you can feel that stretch. Let's take one more moment here. And then let's release that leg. We're going to come back into that Sphinx pose and then go on to the other side. So bring the right hand into the middle to help you with your balance. Left foot up to left hip. Left hand back to catch that foot. You can just, maybe you're just getting your leg in here or your sock or something, and that works. Maybe you've got your foot, maybe you can bring your chest down, maybe you can bring your head down. On the exhale, relax through that lower body. Maybe you can bring that left foot a little bit closer but just be mindful that you're not feeling pain anywhere. We don't want to feel pain in the knee. Don't want to feel pain anywhere, but particularly in the knee for this one. So if you feel any pain that doesn't feel quite right, always just come out of that pose. One more moment. Let's release that leg. Let's come back into Sphinx. Let's push up into Teal. We're just going to stretch through that front body. Let's land the elbows back down. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push back up onto the knees. Bring the knees as wide as your mat. Toes are together. Bring the bottom back and bring the forehead forward. So we're going to land in our child's pose here. And we want to encourage the bottom to come back towards the heels. And we want the forehead down towards the mat. One more moment. And then let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to bring the knees together. We're going to tuck the toes and bring ourselves up into a forward fold here. So just hanging the head down towards the earth. Bottom is up towards the ceiling. And those hands can stay on your feet or your ankles, on the floor, or maybe opposite hand reaches for opposite elbow. And we're just aiming to relax through that spine here. One more moment. Bend through the knees. Let's bring ourselves up to our mountain position, to our standing position. And then we're going to step our right foot about 30 centimeters in front of our left. Find a nice length to the back. All 10 toes are pointing forward, so double check that all 10 toes are pointing forwards. We find a nice length to the back. Let's put our hands on our hips, and we're going to keep that length to the back as we fold forwards. Now, your hands can stay on your hips, or they might come down towards the mat. You might want to put your hands on a chair. That's another option. If you want to be a bit further up, you can put your hands on a chair. Or maybe you'd like to challenge your balance and bring your hands behind you. There's no right answer here. This is our pyramid pose. So it will look different for everybody. Notice where you can feel that stretch. If they're not already, let's bring the hands down, bend the knees. Let's roll ourselves back up to standing. We're going to step that right leg back and then step the left leg forwards to come onto the other side. So just double check again, about 30 centimeters or a foot in between both feet. Nice length to the spine. All 10 toes are facing forwards. We're going to fold ourselves forwards and find where is best for those hands to be. One side might feel quite different from the other. We just notice. There's no judgment. We just notice if one side is different from the other. One more moment. If they're not already, let's bring those hands down to the floor. And this time we're just going to bend through the knees and we're going to bring ourselves back to a seated position. Let's come into a butterfly pose. This is going to be our last posture here. So bring the soles of the feet together, and then we want to open our feet out like a book and allow our knees to fall down. It might be that actually just popping your hands behind you and allowing those knees to just relax down to the side. Maybe that feels good and you want to stay here. Or maybe you're feeling a bit more flexible today and you want to come into a forward fold. So choose what feels right for you. One more moment. And then let's bring ourselves up. We're going to use our hands to bring those knees in. Let's squiggle ourselves round. We're going to come back down to a lying position. We're going to bring the knees into the chest. Little rock from side to side. Let's take knees, ankles and feet together as we allow both knees to come over towards the left. We're coming to a lovely spinal twist here. We aim for both shoulders to be in contact with the mat. One more moment. Let's gently bring those legs back up, rocking from side to side here. Knees, ankles and feet together. Let's come into a twist the other way. Both shoulder blades in contact with the floor. Feeling that lovely twist into the spine. Exhale and release the tension. Legs back up over the chest. Little rock. Let's land the feet. Let's extend the legs if that feels comfy in the back. We just pause now. All that hard work is done. Had a lovely walk. And then some lovely stretches, which our muscles will be very grateful for. So let's just absorb this practice by being still, being quiet for the last few moments. Notice how the body is feeling now. Take your focus to the legs, and on your exhale, just relaxing through the legs, just releasing any last bits of tension that are still being held on to. The same as the focus comes up towards the hips and the tummy. Relaxing through the chest, the shoulders and the arms. Notice the length of the neck and the weight of the head. Find softness in the face. And then let's bring a bend to those knees. We're going to bring those knees into the chest. One last little rock and roll here. Let's roll over onto one side. I'm going to just be here for one moment. And then when we're ready, we're going to bring ourselves up to seated. Let's find a comfortable seated position. And let's inhale, lift those arms up, palms meet, heart center. Namaste.